This is Pastor Bob Richardson welcoming you to A Moment in the Word, a ministry of Southside Church, Lakeland, Florida.
Hi, this is Pastor Gary for A Moment in the Word. It was their fault, and that's the reason I am like I am. It is heard so often today. We live in a world where it seems many are blaming others, including the ancestors of others, for situations affecting their lives in the present. There is an avoidance of any personal responsibility for our choices or consequences that have come upon us. It seems anything that happens to us is the fault of some other person or group. There is a tendency in today's world to always be blaming someone else for our problems. Rulers of nations blame the people, businesses the competitors, and even kids will blame the dog for eating their homework. Our moment in the Word today comes from Ezekiel 18:2. The parents have eaten sour grapes, but their children's mouths pucker at the taste. Well, this is kind of a strange proverb, don't you think? What is the backstory? Many of the people of Judah in 593 BC were in captivity in the country of Babylon. Ezekiel challenged an idea that was popular among the Judean exiles, the notion that they were suffering for the sins of their ancestors and not their own. Ezekiel's people were in bondage and exile because of their sins as a nation. However, each one could individually choose to live righteously even among unrighteous people. Ezekiel 18 reminds us that the responsibility for sin or righteousness lies squarely on the individual in the way they choose to live. In Ezekiel 18, verses 5 to 9, God pledged to give life to the individual Israelite who rejected idolatry, sexual immorality, injustice, and violence. In other words, each individual could choose to observe God's commandments and follow God faithfully. We are all affected by the choices made by others, whether in our families or in society at large. But this does not leave us hopeless, nor does it mean that God cannot bless us in spite of our ancestry, past experiences, or injustices of the past. God reminded His people through Ezekiel that every individual in every generation makes a personal decision about serving or rebelling against God. In all nations, throughout human history, people have been punished or persecuted for belonging to a particular group of people. In times of crisis or warfare, often members of a certain race, ethnicity, or social class are identified as a threat, and society feels justified in punishing individual members of that group. Ezekiel 18, verses 19 and 20, emphasizes the justice and mercy of God by insisting that He does not punish anyone for what their ancestors, or if I might add, what someone else's ancestors may or may not have done. God certainly punishes sin, but He does not punish anyone for someone else's wrongdoing. God holds every person accountable for their own deeds. When we stand before God on Judgment Day, we will receive what we justly deserve for the deeds done in our lives, good or bad. That's why we need Jesus. His blood covers over our sins. The past does not dictate the future. Ezekiel continued his explanation of God's justice by declaring that one's past actions or the actions of another would not absolutely dictate a person's future. A friend of mine was given away as a child, yet became a very successful educator, businessman, and pastor with a great family. He chose to move forward instead of looking backward. What direction are you moving? God evaluates His people on the basis of the choices they make going forward. Ezekiel 18, 21 to 22 says, "If wicked people turn away from all their sins and begin to obey my decrees and do what is just and right, they will surely live and not die. All their past sins will be forgotten, and they will live because of the righteous things they have done." Don't let sour grapes of the past set your teeth on edge. Go forward with God. This is Pastor Gary for A Moment in the Word.
Thank you for joining us. Need prayer? Email us at church@southsideag.com and we will pray for you.